Rise. Please repeat the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have an agenda in front of us. Do we hear a motion?
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any additions or corrections?
No.
Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Chair votes aye. Public comment. Seeing nobody's here, we'll
Move to approve January 6th meeting minutes.
Second.
Any addition or correction to the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of the January 6th meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Any opposed? Minutes have been approved. We have claims, authorized checks. Do I hear a motion?
I'd move to authorize or approve claims and authorize the auditor to issue checks.
Second.
First and second, any discussion on the claims? Seeing none, all in favor of claims as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Chair votes aye. We have just one addition. Denasia Spatz from CBS is in front of us. Any questions or concerns from CBS?
No.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first and second. All in favor of the new employee, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Fantastic. We have some quarterly reports in front of us. We have something from our auditor, and we have from our recorder and also sheriff. Shelley, any comments?
No comments.
Okay, and the auditor had some good information. Police collected $154,000, and then also the sheriff. So,
Just a note, Mr. Chair, that I think it's important for the public to understand that while, and I'm picking on the recorder today, while we collected fees in the amount of $154,000, it's important for people to note that $101,000 of those dollars is paid directly to the state. So it's not like Bremer County is the overwhelming beneficiary of fees collected. Oftentimes those fees generally get passed on to other recipients, specifically the state of Iowa.
correct.
Move to accept the 3 reports and place them on file.
I'll second.
First, second, any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the reports, say aye.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. We have one appointment left, and that is for our Compensation Commission for eminent domain proceedings. And I did reach out to Mark Boner. He lives at 504 First Street Southeastern Chipola, and he said he would like to join that process.
I'd move to appoint him.
Second.
We have a first and second for Mark Boner to be on our compensation board for eminent domain as a city owner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. It has been confirmed. Budget review. Cassandra.
So I have this on here, and it'll be on here throughout the budget work session process, just to discuss items that come up. And Department 33 is in your books. Please take a look at that as far as what outside agencies are asking at this point in time. I did hear back from ambulance and first responders, and they are asking for the same amount as they were last year. And I heard from the fair as well, and they're asking for the same amount as last year. There's nothing in your book. They haven't given me anything, but just that they emailed back. Working on wages right now with Bob and Barb, and hopefully have a discussion again on Friday and probably bring something back to the full board next week. And health insurance, have a Teams meeting on Thursday with Shay, Barb, myself, and Shay. If there's one of the board members that wants to be present on that, I can forward you the team link. It's our preliminary renewal, so we know what preliminary insurance is gonna look like, but we still are putting it out to bid as well, which we're collecting the data for that to get them that information. I let Bob know this already, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that next year, budgeting for FY28 it is a 27 pay period year for us, so it's going to be that extra cost, not for those with a salary, but those that are hourly will get an extra. We'll all have 27 checks, but ours gets divided by 27. They actually get an extra payroll, so just wanted you to keep that in mind. Budgets that are not completed are waiting for more information. Hopefully I'm gonna get some today as far as courthouse project. Capital projects, we still have one that has amounts out yet, and otherwise hopefully I can get everything in your books this week, other than probably payroll.
What time was that meeting again for the health insurance?
It is from 11 to 12, I think.
Anybody?
I can be part of that. I'll sit
So
on
send Corey, please, the
I sure
invite.
will.
Great. Any other discussion items on that update? Of course, we're starting today, so we'll get some good stuff. So board and committee updates. Anybody have?
I had nothing.
Do we?
Nothing.
I did attend the Bremer County Conservation Board meeting last Thursday, I think it was. Last Wednesday, I'm sorry. And once again, Larry Pavlik has, resigned, so I do want to publicly thank Larry for being chair at the Bremer County Conservation Board. They've nominated Patty Sport as chair, and Mandy will be the vice chair, and they went through some updates. Cabin updates, they only had or use rentals, they only had one change. That's Ingwana's Woodlands building, and they just raised it like to $100, so very, very affordable to rent that building. I've rented it before. It's an outstanding building for any event for the public. And so that's their fee changes. And then projects for this next year is obviously the cabin is their number one, but they're also going to be looking at maybe a pickleball court at one of our parks. So they're getting more questions about that or suggestions. Fin restoration, they're going to continue that. And then they had their budget discussion, so that'll be something. They suggested 7%, and they know that may not be realistic, and they'll leave it up to the supervisors to weigh in a little bit on that. So Scott Whitcomb did join, so it was good to see him there. So otherwise, it was a very good meeting, and very appreciative of the board members.
7% overall budget or 7%
For salaries.
salaries?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my update from
Mr. Chair, I did miss one. I just, when I was putting in the health insurance thing on my calendar, I saw I'd missed. Friday, we had opioid task force meeting, so it was my first one sitting in as vice chair on that, so. The state is going to discontinue the purchasing and distribution of Narcan to the counties, so we're gonna have to figure out, it's something Lindley knew was coming. Getting the prescriptions written to source locally is gonna be the only hurdle, just figuring out the details on that, and they won't give a timeline of when that cutoff is gonna be. They're just putting awareness out there that it is gonna be happening. The drug disposal bags that she brought to us here, a little over a month ago, those have been put out 51 different locations, so that distribution has been handled. And then Board of Health will be seeing a proposal to expand some trainings that'll be coming up that Lindley's putting together that will tie back into this, the budgeting through opioid. So exciting opportunity coming to see how the Board of Health wants to manage.
Meeting tomorrow night.
Great. It's a very good board, and a lot of passionate people on that, so it's good. Alrighty. And we'll have review center in 5 minutes, both of you, okay? Gwen, which
No, I'm Paige.
page?
Yes, and this is Sam.
should probably jump back. Shelley, you just sent an email about the resignation.
Oh, mental health advocate resignation.
So my question, and I'm going to lean on you, what does that mean to us? And
Well, it's a required position, so I would reach out to Darius
okay,
and see if Darius can make a recommendation, or if he wants to lead in putting out an application for that position.
I did include him in that email stream.
okay. So I'll reach out to him and he will guide us on that, so.
Right, he'll most likely want to come up with some recommendation, I'm hopeful, so.
Okay. Great. And for the public, Angie Nelson has been our mental health advocate, probably what, for 5-10 years?
No longer than that.
She
Okay.
worked for the county for at least 20 years in several different roles, but the mental health advocate piece, I'm not sure exactly.
Well, at least during my duration on the Mental Health Board of Directors for 13, 14 years. And then prior to that, she was also the advocate.
So a longtime mental health
Long time.
advocate for Bremer County, so she'll be leaving us, and so I'll reach out. Fantastic, thank you very much. Any other things that we should know about, Shelley or Cassandra?
That will have to be an agenda item to appoint when we do find one.
Yep, yep. Good. Fantastic. So, for Riverview Center, you guys can come up to the table and we'll start in about 2 minutes. Thank you, Paige. Thank you, Pam. Do you have any handouts other than what we are?
No, I think you all have the
Yes.
proposal, right?
Yep, yep. So we'll start here just a minute. So,
Can I get the spellings of both of you guys?
It's PAIGE, EVERLY. Mhm.
And then Sam, S-A-M, Zimmerman, Z-I-M-M-E-R, M-A-N.
Thank you.
And just remind folks, we are being televised, so.
Okay.
All righty. You guys want to do your introductions? And
Sure.
we'll get started.
Okay. As I mentioned, my name is Paige, and this is Sam, my colleague. We're from Riverview Center. We are both located, our main office in Waterloo, but we serve Bremer County, and I brought Sam along because Sam spends a lot of time in Bremer County, actually. So, and Sam is able to share some specific instances of the work that we are doing here in Bremer County, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about what Riverview Center is. So I know some of you are familiar. It's nice to see our brochures right over here, so I appreciate that because awareness is a great deal of what we do. But as our report states, we served 39 individuals last year in this county, people who experienced some type of sexual violence. We serve 14 counties in Iowa, and we do, what we're asking for this time is money to keep our crisis hotline in service. We also provide legal and medical advocacy, and as I mentioned, prevention and education services. So Sam, among other people and other advocates that we have at Riverview Center do a lot of work within the schools and with community partners. So sometimes our clients need more than the counseling services, the therapy services that we can give. And so connecting them with community partners is really, really important. So we have good relationships with all of the community partners here in Waverly and in the rest of Bremer County. Among that, business partners as well, because we do have some generous business partners that help us with certain things. We serve 14 counties in Iowa, as I mentioned, and we help with any type of sexual violence that a person may have experienced. So that could be something that happens immediately. We would meet them at the hospital, and along with what we call a SANE nurse that would be there, is trained specifically to deal with sexual assault. And we can help them navigate the legal system should they want to do that. But we also help with people who have experienced sexual assault in their past. If it was 20 years ago, if it was 30 years ago, and they may be triggered by something, or they may have an experience that they finally feel like they want to talk about, we are there for those individuals as well. So the range of people that we help is very broad. It goes from school-age children, unfortunately, to people in their 80s sometimes. So we work with nursing homes as well. And we do work on having relationships with all of those individuals and all of those organizations. So I'll let Sam talk a little bit about some specific things that she has done within the community.
Well, thank you, Paige. The beauty of our services is not only do we get to serve primary survivors, so those people directly impacted by sexual violence, but also secondary survivors. So that includes like friends, family members, even just anyone in the community, really. One time someone told me, you either are a survivor or you know a survivor, which is unfortunately the reality of the world that we live in, but that's why we're here. Someday I would love to be out of a job, but we're still doing this work at this time. With that too, working with both primary and secondary survivors, we see a lot of intergenerational sexual trauma. So with that, there's a survivor that I've been working with for a couple years now, and she experienced sexual trauma in her past, but recently something has come up in her own family, but she's been putting in this work to heal, to do the individual peer counseling, to really work through some of that previous trauma, and now is being able to assist family members that are dealing with this new instance of sexual trauma. And although it has already happened, it's still very hurtful, very fresh. She has been able to help set those boundaries, set an example for her kids on how to navigate something as complex as this. So not only are we seeing healing through her, but we're seeing intergenerational healing at this point, and hopefully in the future preventing other instances of sexual violence in their family. With that too, with the help of the Board of Supervisors and the funding that we do receive from Bremer County, we have been able to help fill in some of those gaps financially. So for example, last summer, we were able to help fully stock a family's pantry for groceries. So they're going through a rough patch, not being able to afford, some of those extra, like at that point, filling their pantry was considered a luxury. So they're just getting by enough, but being able to do that for them not only was helping the survivor themselves, but their whole family, and they did feel very grateful for something that I know I take for granted, for sure. So being able to have that extra funding to fill in the gaps really does make a difference, even though it is the little things that can do that.
Now, we have two other, we have Northeast Iowa Action that does that, and also we have our own.
We do work with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
We want to avoid duplication.
Yeah, sometimes when we approach some of those organizations, they may be out of funding at a certain time, and so we have some gap funding that we try to fill in when we have local organizations that can't do something. So the first place we go is the local organizations to try to see if they can meet those needs. And if they can't, then we try to find some way that we can, whether it's moving a little bit of money around in some ways. We keep a little bit of a pantry of our own. at our office so that we can take people just a few groceries to get by a couple days if they need to. You know, things like that. But our first choice is to connect them with a local organization, because that way they can get some ongoing help, like a food bank, like, you know, those kinds of things. So connecting them with those local organizations is our first priority.
Absolutely. And I'd love to speak on our sexual assault response team. So our SAR coordinator, Desi, she previously worked as a sexual assault advocate, was very involved in Bremer County, and now has the privilege to work on a bit more of a widespread level in our organization across the 14 counties that we serve in Iowa. So not only is she has a great relationship with the county attorney's office. We've been lucky to have them as a partner here in the community. And also she's been working on kind of developing more of a rapport with law enforcement. Sometimes we do find that due to previous instances, there is a little bit of a gap of communication or past harm that has been done. And so she's really been working on having those tough conversations, really developing a relationship with law enforcement and all that, because it is so important that we're able to coordinate that multidisciplinary response to sexual violence for survivors. So with that too, she's been working to do a sexual assault investigations training that's actually coming up next week, which is really cool to see. And then also doing presentations at different schools and colleges. For example, she has one coming up to talk specifically about SAR, and is working with Holly Jacobson to provide that. So it's really cool to see that cross collaboration through sexual assault response as well.
One of the main things we do is training. We do, that's along with our prevention and awareness stuff that we offer. So we can do customized training for if the school approaches us and says, we really want our teachers to learn more about cyberbullying and how that is related to sexual assault and sexual violence. And we can put together workshops for them, which we do often. We also have training that's specific for grade school, middle school, high school that we offer. We have relationships with the counselors at the schools so that if they need us for either information or to call us in as part of that sexual assault response team, we can be a part of that and part of that conversation and help navigate those things, along with helping them to navigate things with families if things happen.
And for your training next week, who's your target audience?
Mainly, well, it's open really to anyone in the community, but primarily law enforcement, advocates, really anyone involved in that sexual assault investigation kind of process, but also specifically going through like DNA evidence collection, what that looks like, especially in the early points of an investigation, collecting that additional evidence that hopefully they're able to work out some sort of resolution or take the case to trial.
I think it's also important to note that these are things we've worked in collaboration with, like the police department or the sheriff's department to put together. They have asked for it. So it isn't us saying you have to come to this. This is stuff that they've asked for, you know, that they want further training in these things. So.
Great. So you guys are asking for a $500 increase this year. And that increase is for?
It's mostly for more of the training and awareness, because we're seeing, as Sam mentioned, building those relationships with law enforcement, we're seeing more opportunities for us to have some more training with them. And also we want to integrate more into the schools as well. So it is about awareness training. I think one of the things we're looking at a lot right now, and people are talking about a lot, is unfortunately, the advent of AI and how that is leading to instances of sexual violence, and how we hear from teachers a lot that students don't realize, like especially younger students don't realize like what a huge impact that is, and how offensive and how harming that can be. And they're doing it for jokes, and so bringing more education, you know, providing more knowledge for teachers to be able to navigate situations like that. You know, we've had some instances in the news trying to prevent another instance that we've seen, you know, in the state already.
Good. Corey, or do we have any questions?
Got a couple of questions on your clients served. I'm confused a little bit. You're saying 97% disabled, but then there's several other percentages. 24% homeless, 21% youth, 21% LGBTQ+, 12% males. Can you explain that?
So we have-
Those percentages don't add up.
Well, because they can be more than one thing. They could be a male disabled person.
Okay.
So that's
Gotcha.
why it is,
The
yeah.
other question I have is on the final page. You represent 14 counties. I think this has been explained before, but only 8 look like we're contributing. Can you explain where the other 6 might fall into that category? Do they just not contribute? Or?
So, no, they do contribute, but these are the ones we received funding in this, so some of the bigger ones are not included in this, because they give us, honestly, they give us more money for more things, like we got, not huge, but we got more money from Blackhawk County for specific things, for very specific things. These are all the counties that contribute to the things that we listed on here. And this is for fiscal year '26. I honestly don't know why she left that off of here. I mean, it's so interesting that she left it off of here. I would have to ask her that, and I can email Shelley about that, and she can pass that on to you.
Thank you. Clearly, one of the things that, while I think to echo Sam's point, it's disappointing, but at the same time, it's good that clearly 39 people were helped in Bremer County.
Right.
So if you break that down to the amount of contribution, it was a pretty cheap investment for Bremer County to help those 39 people receiving 507 hours worth of help and support. But
Yeah.
thank you. I don't have anything else.
I also would add that I really feel like we're that organization that you don't really want to know. I mean, people don't want to know we exist, but because it's uncomfortable, it is. But when you need us, or when someone you love needs us, you're really glad we're there, you know. So.
Thank you.
Anything
Corey,
else?
any questions?
No, I don't think, the county attorney's office speaks very highly of the services you do provide, so, thank you.
The county's attorney's office has been really great to work with, and in Bremer County, we really have appreciated that partnership a lot, so, thank you.
They might be reaching out to you if you have any suggestions on a mental health advocate, because it sounds like we have an opening, so.
You can't take our people.
Oh, we still we can.
It is really hard in Iowa right now, I will acknowledge that, it is very hard, and y'all have had such a dedicated person in that role for a long time, and it's gonna be a hard
Well, and she's the
replace.
victim of the system change, which is really unfortunate.
It's really unfortunate, it really is. Because she has been steadfast, and she's an amazing person to work with.
Great.
Yeah.
You probably stole her.
Not yet. No, I'm joking.
Carry on, I forget where she,
Melina.
Melina. Paige and Sam, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for
presenting
having
for
us today. We
Riverview.
appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Good. Now we'll have Landon come up. And Jim, you came in, you guys started at 10:45 and 11:15.
We're almost informed the wrong time.
You got time for a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate the tabloid size, I don't have to break out the readers.
Yeah.
You say that now, maybe you put it in your binder.
Yeah.
That's why I broke them out, as I flipped to the binder page.
Okay, Landon, you can get started.
Okay.
And you're doing your budget review?
Yep.
So, okay.
Your hard copy you have here is without the wages. I also sent an electronic copy of what I'm proposing to do for wages. So this first one is our proposed budget, under 700 administration, no change other than whatever we do for wages there. Similar with 701 engineering, the only added item is under 220 engineering equipment. We do have 5,000 in there for a county-owned traffic counter so that we're not waiting on those. We've also talked about if we have some funding available this spring, we could buy one this fiscal year, so that may or may not be necessary next year, but we have it in there just in case. 710 bridges and culverts, the bulk of the change here, and this will be updated a little bit with some wages too. The bulk of the change here is we've identified a significant number of culverts that are CMP culverts and are far enough along that we would like to replace them this summer before we do the paving in 2027. That way we don't go down and do the paving and then come back and rip the pavement up to do the culverts. Yep. So there will be a good chunk of that work that's captured under 710 as maintenance.
Can you enlighten me, CMP culvert?
Corrugated metal pipe.
Thank you.
Typically we install concrete pipe underneath our paved roads. That has not always been the case, and we find if we leave those metal pipes in there when we pave that inevitably we're tearing up the pavement to fix the culvert before the pavement needs to be torn out. So any of those that have been in there for an extended lifetime, we were going to go in and replace on that 10-mile stretch.
To cement, to
concrete, yep, we'd put concrete back behind them. Fairly, I mean, it's more expensive to do concrete, but the overall longevity that we're not ripping up good pavement to replace culvert pipes again is worth it.
It makes a lot of sense doing it before you do the road project.
Right.
So that's.
We haven't always done that, and that's pretty uncomfortable when you gotta open up a 5-year-old pavement to do a culvert project.
Yep.
So, under 711, no huge changes here. The two main ones, under 464, it's the highlighted 50,000 amount. That is some crack sealing work we'd like to do. V62 north of Sumner is included in that, and then we got to identify a couple more priority stretches. And then the 100,000 that's highlighted, the bulk of that is patching for those culverts. After we're done with all those culverts, we'd come back in and asphalt patch them until that way there's a good asphalt base there when we go in to repave that. Next page.
Shoulders is just shoulder rock, right?
Yeah, yep. Next page, snow and ice removal. No changes currently. We will put some additional, when I add the wages in here, we would put some additional funding under the plowing item there. We've been over budgeted, I guess you would say, with the nice winters we've had, but at some point we're gonna have what used to be a normal winter again, so. And in that one, we budget about 2,000 hours of OT. Now, like I said, we haven't hit that in a couple of years, but 2019 probably was the last time. Under 713, traffic control.
Can we
Yep.
talk about snow for just a second?
Yeah.
Snow fence.
Yep.
Did we have anybody bite on?
No. No, and we've talked about that, and it might just be a thing where we need to be more proactive with it. It's
Yeah,
out
'cause I see
there,
it
but.
more and more examples of it as I travel
DOT's
around.
had a really good program. We haven't had a lot of interest, so it's probably something where we need to actually be knocking on doors and saying, hey, what do you think? So I've talked about that with the foreman a few times. 713, traffic control, once again, no changes except whatever we do with wages. Similar with 714. New equipment, I've got a couple highlighted there. So what we've got proposed for next year is a motor grader, a semi, a tractor, and 2 pickups. That total on the budget is $665,000, which is more than we typically do on new equipment. We've got 2 items that would technically offset that, but I budgeted for the whole thing just to show what we're planning. We've got $219,643 remaining from this year that we don't anticipate using, so we'll carry that over, other than a portion of that will go to pay for that truck that got damaged. And then on top of that, we've got 2 spare motor graders currently. The one has got about 3 hours in the last 2 seasons. So we're thinking with this motor grader purchase, we will trade in not only the motor grader that's being replaced, but one of the older motor graders too, rather than keeping an extra spare that's just not getting used. And so we're anticipating $180,000 to $200,000 in trade-ins on those motor graders. So that actual spend next year will probably be somewhere closer to $500,000 or less.
What did you say your anticipated carryover was, 219?
219, yep. Minus whatever we
Minus
spend on
the
that truck, yeah.
40-ish.
Yeah, yep. Let's see, under 721, equipment operations, no major changes. There's a little bump there on 627 radio. That has captured the increasing cost of our GPS system we have on all our vehicles. But other than that, nothing major. 722, tools and materials, once again, no major changes. The only significant change there is a reduction on 668 signs to 10,000. That is because we're hoping we can get the sign grant that we've done about every other year, so we're going to apply for that to offset some of that cost. On 723, property, no major change. Where's my... Oh, the buildings was already down. Okay, never mind. Yep, no major changes there. And then 1020 construction. The main item here that changes is that 40,000 that's highlighted. As of now, the only thing I have included in there is the 2 bridges we're going to do with our crews next year, 1-1 and 413.
The 400,000 you mean? Or
Yep.
You said 40.
Oh, yeah, no, we won't get it done for that. The 400,000 is those 2 bridges. That number could change, so we've got those 2 bridges in that CHBP grant. We are planning to complete those projects whether we get the grant or not. We anticipate getting the grant. The grant committee or whatever has told us that Iowa is virtually a lock to get that grant due to the bridge condition we have. But if we would not get those bridges, that number would increase because we would have a reimbursement from our HBP account that we would have to fund locally and then get reimbursed from there. So if that does happen, that number would increase, but we would also have an associated revenue that would increase. So overall, total proposed for the year is $7.218 million. Again, that'll change with wages. What I proposed, what I sent you on wages would take us to $7.408 million. Down from last year, but a big chunk of that is that we don't have the HBP reimbursements included. Any questions on that before we move on to revenue?
No, a question I have is relative to our rumble strips. I think that you were either writing a grant or something.
Yep.
We're in dire need of getting some of them.
We wrote a grant, and I have not heard, we're working on the plans, but I have not heard that we were awarded. Normally they inform us quite a bit earlier. They did have changeover in who manages that, so I followed up with him about a week ago and have not heard back if we got that or not. So
if we do not receive the grant,
if we do not,
we have to figure a way to
then
do
we
it.
could look at doing it a local maintenance project, which would need to be added in here with an amendment.
You got your counters in here, and
Yep.
then your plan is to, help us determine what roads need improvements, and where you're gonna do some pilot projects on some of these roads. I hate to talk about gravel, but.
Yeah. Yep, we're planning a pilot project. We were gonna do up there by the Frederica Quarry. We were gonna do part of that with road stabilization project product, excuse me, and then a part of that with, well, they both be road stabilization, but the second part using
That'd be
the,
your tools and materials?
Chloride.
Where would that?
yeah, that,
I don't,
under, and we had, yeah, tools and materials.
but not under calcium chloride?
Nope, we moved that. That's where I always used to put it, and now I gotta remember where it goes. Oh, that's why, we have that on hand. We've got some calcium chloride on hand we were planning to use for that. And our dust control goes under a different line item, which we would use that as well. Now, I can't remember, it always used to be 680, but we got some updates on how we're tracking those.
I didn't know if you're gonna use some different, stuff.
Oh, dust palliative, 463. So we've got 50,000 in there to do that.
Okay. Any other questions on expenses?
On revenues, road use tax, TJFM, and the Time 21 funds, those three come from a DOT projection. Typically, they are a little low. Quite frankly, that almost always they are a little low, but that's what they're projecting for this year. 3.61 million on road use tax, 788,000 on the Frederica share, and then 400,000 on our Time 21. That highlighted empty box there, that is the bridge replacement funds. If those two bridges had that had to go through our CHBP funds, we would have a number here that would associate directly with whatever additional construction costs we had. The rest of them, no significant changes. I did update, sort of at a high level, our moving permits. We've had that 12,000 number that we had in there last year. That's just been inserted in there for the last several years. I did update that to be closer to what we're doing in a given year. About 40,000 is what we bring in from those. Same with a couple of those gas diesel parts sign stuff. The one there, that sign one, 20,000 is taking into account that we're anticipating that grant. Assessment districts, blanket 10,000, that is the Timmerman Drive payments. That's been kind of, don't really know what we're gonna get in a year because we had the yearly payment plan, but we have been seeing quite a few people pay those off early. And then for our,
Could you explain that to me?
so, we did Timmerman Drive as a secondary road assessment district in which.
It's just west of Denver, it's a
Yeah,
little subdivision. East
If you
of
go
Denver,
east of Denver, if you go
See.
north of C50 on Midway, there's a little subdivision in there that's paved with asphalt. That was 2 or 3 years ago we did that, 2 years ago probably. And essentially the county paid for it and then the residents pay us back. And so they have a payment plan, but they have the option to pay those off early. So if they did the payment plan every year, it would be 10,171 if all of them were doing it. But several of them have paid that off early, so the remaining, there's only 4 houses remaining, I think, paying on that. I'd have to double check that number, but there's only a few of them paying, and then some of them might pay it off early again this year, so.
Thank you.
Yep. General rural basic, those numbers based on our most recent valuations. I do have a sheet talking about those coming up here. Total receipts, $6.768 million. A little bit down from last year, but once again, that's mostly due to the lack of the bridge replacement funds in this fiscal year. On the next sheet there, you've got a few graphs. The first one just outlines where our revenue comes from. Obviously, road use tax and property tax are the huge majority, about 96% of our revenue for this year, especially not having those bridge replacement funds. The annual property tax, those last 2 years are projected, but you can see we've fairly steadily increased over time with that. Road use tax has been a little more volatile, especially in those couple years right around COVID. We were a little volatile there, but that generally has climbed as well. Next page is our calculations for our property tax income. Those are updated based on our taxable valuations, and I guess the only real differentiation there between what we could take and what we take is that there is that $65,000 set off towards the IRVM program, which is why we have 97.45% of allowed.
Would it make sense to maybe see if Nick wants to partner with trying to find some of that snow fence area? 'Cause it
Yeah.
seems like that would be.
Gonna be right up his
roadside
alley with
management
roadside, yeah.
As much as it would be secondary roads.
Right.
We could maybe try to remember to mention that to him during his budget process.
Yeah.
That's at 10:30. Can you remember it that long?
No.
I'll make a note because I won't either. Next sheet is our fund balance history. I've only got the 10 years there. I do have a spreadsheet that tracks it all the way back to like 1994 if you're interested in that. But the long and the short of it, last year's is still proposed. We will almost certainly end up with more than that 2.68 ending balance, but that's what we projected. So given that, with our anticipated revenues of 6.7 and our anticipated expenditures on here of 7.2, that would leave us with about a 2.2 million ending balance. With the wages I propose, I don't remember if I wrote that on yours, that would leave us just over 2 million as an ending balance based on everything that's proposed here. And then the next two sheets are just a couple of graphs. First one is revenues and expenditures year by year, and then the second one is ending balance year over year. You can see I guess both of them are fairly up and down. On our ending balance one, the final sheet, those last 2 years will, again, just about guaranteed be higher than that. We maxed out at one point in that 22-23 at 3.7 million for an ending balance. That was getting pretty high. So we have done some additional rock in some of our in some of our tough areas and done some things like that. Plus, we've had some not so great news with DNR poking holes in our ground and equipment and things like that.
What is your strategy on end and balance? What do you think is the proper amount?
So I'm a little bit conservative in that I'd like to have a pretty decent amount in there. I know one year we were down. I was thinking one year we were down around 1.5 million. It doesn't show that on here, but that got to be the point where we had to make sure that we could purchase our equipment when we wanted and still be able to pay guys until that first tax check comes in October. So somewhere in that 2 million range is pretty comfortable for me. That leaves us plenty of room if something happens that we have to take care of, like a 2019 spring or something like that. But it also, I sort of feel too, if we're holding too much in there, then it's hard to look a taxpayer in the eye and say, we need all your taxes, but we have 4 million in the bank.
What if we would do a new approach and designate some of that for rural road development? I mean, we've been talking for years about hard surface from Denver to Waverly through the countryside.
Yep.
What if we would begin the process of lowering that ending fund balance and putting it into a designated fund for, call it new roads.
Well, our typical strategy with that has been using lost funds for that. That's what we're doing this year with the seal coating, is to
But
use
we
lost
also could be
funds. but-
using some of this fund balance.
We could.
But it all depends on how much do you really need for, hit you for the property tax payments and major, environmental issues.
Right.
Shouldn't dip below the 25% of your expenditures of your ending fund balance, and you're gonna be at, without wages, 30.99%.
Yeah.
So with wages in here, he'll be below 30%.
Yeah.
If you were to pull a history of minimum cash balance in the account, so we could see those low points.
Oh, man, I wish I had that on here. I probably didn't. So there were a couple years in the, I want to say early 2000s. There was one year Todd had an ending balance below 500,000.
But that would give us some predictive modeling.
Yep.
To look at what we could
And I
potentially pull from that.
I never noticed that before he was out of here, but I'd really like to talk to him. I bet that was an uncomfortable time. So yeah, there were some years there, it was a struggle. I think that was right around 2010, if I remember right, but.
Which we had 2008, 2009, 2010 were heavy snow years.
Yeah, yep. And I think it was right around then where we got really low on that balance.
And floods, so
Yeah.
road damage
Right.
potentially, so.
Which, part of that has been why I've always been hesitant to go very low with that ending balance, is because something like that comes up and we don't have a choice but to go low. We've been fairly fortunate, other than 2019, we haven't had anything too dramatic like that, but.
Other questions?
Can you talk in any more detail about your salary projections, or?
Yes. So what I proposed, what I discussed with Barb, what I included in the one I sent you electronically was 3% across the board, with the only deviation being a smaller raise for the two foremen. I had them set at 4%. So 3% across the board, 4% for the two foremen. They weren't specifically touched on in our countywide analysis, but I went through the data we have from our engineer service bureau and comparing them to the similar population counties. They're significantly behind, I think about 12%. They're fairly consistent with the land mass, the similar counties by land mass size, and then they're about 5% behind our surrounding counties, foreman positions. And so just a little bump there is what I'm requesting for them, to kind of get them a little closer. If we did the 4% for them, they would be within about 25 cents an hour of the other counties, assuming the other counties just did a cost of living. Now, that's not always the case, but that would get us pretty close with them at least.
Yeah. Our COLA, we may be looking at as a 2.8.
Okay. Yep.
Good
Anything else?
information. And I appreciate you meeting with Barb and going
Yeah.
through that, and so.
It's been a while since I looked at that salary study.
Yeah, and I can send that info out too.
Where were you at in comparison?
Me personally, I don't remember the numbers on it. My bar was just a tiny bit behind, but nothing that I'm gonna get too worried about, honestly.
But you live in a cheaper county.
Right.
Well, we need to think beyond you, and, who knows when you might find a very attractive officer somewhere else, and we don't want to be behind.
Be way behind, yeah, right.
And for attracting.
Yeah, we want to be within the range, otherwise you see a big spike if we have to rehire. We don't want
Right.
to see a big spike, so yes. But
Yeah, one of our counties at RTA dealt with that. When their engineer retired, they had to go way up to find a replacement.
Which is really unfair to the retired.
Previous,
member.
right. Yeah.
Really unfair, but it happens.
Yeah.
Good information. I really appreciate you coming in.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, and I guess the only other thing for my update is we are really striking out on finding a new location for a new county shed. we reached out to one landowner that's got some pretty poor crop ground right along Piedmont there. No response since, I think, November I reached out. And then we talked to the co-op there, South Tripola. They're not interested because they're looking, they could expand that at some point, it sounded like. So we'll keep looking.
What about that pasture land north of 3 on Piedmont? Is that one of them you looked at? Or?
Yeah, we looked at that. I think that just changed hands. Did Stratman buy that?
Who?
Stratman?
I don't know.
I'd have to look. We looked at that one.
That
We got
might
some
be
notes
worth a
on it.
relook,
Yeah.
because there's some land there that would cost a fortune to get it to be
Make it
livable
tillable,
farming
right,
land.
yeah, right. So, yeah, we're still looking. Nick and Andy and I talked this morning about some options again, so we'll reach out to a few more people, but our top two
Would
options.
another option be to put up expanded buildings at both locations?
It would. We've talked about that too.
Because that always, that marriage has always been a bit of a challenge.
Right.
Because it goes so far to the southeast.
Mhm. Yeah, it would. I don't recall. We spoke to the landowner there around Reedland. I don't remember how that went, if he was interested in parting with any of that or
How
not.
many acres do we sit on?
Little under 1, I think.
Oh, I
So we
thought it
wouldn't,
was-
we wouldn't need very
I thought it was
much.
like 1 point something.
I don't think so. I'd have to look at my notes on that, though. We've been kind of focused on moving, but we might have to come back around to that if we can't find a spot, so. In Chipola, we've got plenty of room right there. You know, we could do a pretty nice building there pretty easily, so that one wouldn't be too difficult.
So before you leave, Nick, you got brought up in the conversation about snow fences. So there was a question asked. maybe-
Living snow fences.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Seems like a good fit for, as you're traveling about, to help identify locations and then also maybe making some of the initial contacts with some of those farmers to.
What, your plan with the crops you want, like?
That's what I don't remember why we wrote our policy. I think it was specific to corn.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't do anything with like a native grass planting type, but.
I mean, there are some native shrubs you could put it.
Right.
You have a wider right of way that you could use, some native shrubs that we could plant along the backside of it, but yeah.
Or a permanent one.
Permanent, yeah, more permanent, yeah, so, yeah.
I think initially we're just looking for advocacy to engage with the
Yeah.
Yeah, we put
landowners
that, we
and
put that policy out a couple of years ago, I think, and we really had no interest, so.
Okay.
But I don't know that most people knew about it,
Right.
or know about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, if they don't pay attention here, we kind of did a little thing about it at the time, but if they don't pay attention to here, what we put
We
out
could
on
work with
social
Farm
media
Bureau,
is
they
a
have
mess. Oh,
very
yeah.
good meeting
Yeah,
attendance, and
yep.
if Nick can help figure out where some of those spots might make
Areas, yeah.
better sense.
You bet.
So have you to brainstorm and think about it, and come back to us at some point in time on
Okay.
if it's something that we can handle.
Okay.
Great, thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Now I don't have to remember. Thank you, Bob.
I think we'll get started here. And you get any handouts?
I have just my budget stuff and then.
In our books.
Yeah.
24 in your books.
Yep. And I just had a couple little update things I wanted to go over too while I was here, but we can do whichever first.
Do your updates first.
Okay. I did a couple things, so I've made, trying to get the public more involved in reporting some weed infestations and invasive species, so I made a Google Doc. I'm gonna get this put out. I've got one hanging up in the lobby already. It's just a code they can scan with their phone. It goes right to a little quick survey, and then I'll get an email with those answers to kind of hopefully help identify a little faster where they're at, where they're having problems, and we can kind of take care of it in more of a timely fashion. So hopefully that can get out and some people can start using that this spring.
That's awesome.
And then I was also thinking too, I come up with a rough draft, maybe just a resolution. I guess I don't think it would have to be an ordinance to kind of maybe, there's some invasive species that aren't in the Iowa code that are becoming, or can become a big problem. And we still have to take care of them, but they're not enforceable per se for the code. So just kind of maybe have the county recognize those to kind of get word out too, that those are invasive, they can hurt crops, they can take over our right of ways, and we still have to manage them without them being enforceable by the state. So I don't see what your thoughts were on that.
Have you talked to Darius to see
I did, yes.
Could we make it an ordinance to where they were enforceable at the local level?
So it sounded like we could. He looked over what I had and it looked good. But then talking to some of the other counties, they were a little leery on making it an actual ordinance because they're not in the state code. So then how would we kind of have the backing to enforce it? But Darius seemed that it was okay. So it was kind of more, we'd have to do a little more in depth on it. So that's kind of one way it went, with just like a resolution to just kind of help recognize these problem species that in 5-10 years could really take over. And there's some that Dave got a good handle on already over the last 10 years, and they have been knocked back from the right of way, but now they're in the landowner's property and they're still encroaching, and so we're continuing to have to spray and keep them out of the right of way. But it'd be nice to actually educate them a little more and say, hey, we need to, what can we do to help control it on your side of the fence so we can eliminate this problem and keep everybody happy. So
one year, Bob, I took David along with me. Annually we do, Corey's done them, I've done them, usually the chair does them, the updates with Farm Bureau regarding the budget. And one year I took David along and had him give a 10-minute presentation to Farm Bureau.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a great opportunity to have Nick go along and make that, because you'd gauge right there whether or not it should be an ordinance or a resolution.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yep. Some of them feel very strongly about protecting their.
Yeah, and some of them, like I said, and the more dirt we disturb with all our cleanings and what farmers are doing with their tiles and their drain ditches, all that bare soil is just an invitation for all these invasives, and they're coming. The conference I went to back in November-ish, whatever, they're predicting that within the next 10 years there's going to be 400 invasive species in Iowa, if I remember right, and we're sitting at about 150-ish now. And that's total, that's not just plants, that's all kinds of invasives.
Is that in part because of all of our
it really has
acres, I'm going to call them?
Well, not necessarily. It really has to do with how the world's changing, the climates are changing, everything is getting warmer. It has over the past 50 years gotten historically warmer, so that's all these plants that are being brought in off our coast, wherever they're coming from, shipments from somewhere, they're continuing to spread. So, and then once one gets here, it just, another host species comes in and they just feed off that and they just keep growing and growing. And then if there's a construction project in the county somewhere and they're bringing in soil from another county and there's those seeds in that seed bank, it's just a nonstop issue. So that's how they're just going to continue to spread. And something like that I think would kind of help make the public more aware to be on top of that. Plus with the reporting issue, we can kind of help keep tabs on that too. So yeah, and there's one plant species that's on there. It's Tree of Heaven. It's not here yet. It's in some southern counties, and that is a host to the lanternfly. And if the lanternfly gets here, that can really damage crops. So we need to kind of keep tabs on that.
I think like Dewey says, we'll talk to Farm Bureau when we do their budget presentation, and work with other counties if they're going to be doing ordinances. It helps us. But
yeah, there are some that have. I think Johnson, some of the bigger counties have done it, and then there's some smaller cities that have kind of done something, but that's just more for weed control in town. But yeah, this is definitely
sound like if other counties are doing ordinances, then that makes us more stable. So let's get back to budget. You got 10 minutes.
Okay.
And right now it's budget 24.
Okay. Yep. It was, I guess, fairly simple. They did a slight increase on some things just because cost of herbicides and stuff were going to go up. Seed was going to go up just a little bit. There's some new herbicides I want to try, so there's a little extra in there for that to give them a try and see if they'll work better. There was one piece of equipment that I was looking at, we can write the LRTF grant for, and that was a, brain fart, skid loader attachment, Harley rake, to help with soil and seed prep. Be a little faster than doing it with the tractor, especially when there's some bigger projects that they've done that we gotta go out and use the tractor to seed with. It'll help speed up that, getting that soil leveled off a little bit, and make the seed bed a little easier. So, but that can be hopefully funded with the LRTF grant, and they'll cover, the grant amount would cover it, but then we're a 20% match on that. So the quote I had for the equipment was $15,220, and then we'd have 20% of that is what we'd owe if we got the grant.
And you'll know that, about that grant when?
So July, August-ish is when they issue that, but we have to plan for it now, and then.
We've always been very successful.
Yeah, yep. I mean, it's never 100%, but yeah, there's a good probability we'll get it.
Pressure's on Nick, because
Yeah.
David did.
Yep.
Apparently was one of his specialties, was writing those things.
So I've been successful in them before, and I've kind of got a little head start on that already, because we gotta have it turned in June is when it's due. So yeah, we'll know after July if we get it or not. Really.
Nick
yeah.
did do a capital project sheet. It's in
Oh, yeah.
41, but we're gonna move it back to 24 because he's putting it within his budget. So it's in your book under Department 41, but I'll move it back to 24.
What, for that?
For that, yeah,
Just-
that piece of
okay.
equipment.
Just so you know, he did do it. It just,
Okay.
Yep,
I have it memorized.
Perfect.
yep. So,
Nick, I was, wages temporary part-time and
Yep.
your expenses, something doesn't coincide with, I'm not seeing the raise on your wage sheet. But yeah, we're looking at about a $5,500 increase in budget over budget on temp and part-time wages. What, are we looking at more hours or?
you're talking the seasonal one?
Yeah, it's, it'd be the 6th, 7th, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it'd be 6th line item. It's the 10-100 on the master of expenses.
Okay.
You're jumping budget year to budget year 27.3 to 32.8, and I don't see that like on your wage sheet. It doesn't correlate.
So I think with that, I think I included both the potential positions, the seasonal ones, the 1,200-hour one and the 480 one. I think that's why that's like that. Unless there was another line I was supposed to put that under.
No, it matches up to, like, if you go over to the total columns, like with FICA and work comp and everything, the 24,796 and 8,045, it just, from year to year, that $5,500, I guess I'm not seeing that in the small raise that's there in the
Okay.
seasonal. So
Yeah, I'll have to go back and double check that. I guess I didn't catch that, so.
That was the only thing that just caught my eye. I
I'll
just tried
have
to, if it's a clerical error or where.
It might be. I'll have to go back and,
Okay.
and double check that and see.
And then, Cassandra, you probably answered this question, but I mean, workers' comp, is that fairly stable? We've been kind of over budgeting for it.
We've been over budgeting, but no, we're now going on a trend where we're going to see increase in premiums because we've had an indemnity case that is gonna affect our premiums now for the next.
So you think
at
that's
least
where we
3
should be?
years. It's trending up,
Okay.
our premiums.
Okay.
And is there a reason you chose not to increase seasonal employees? Just you feel that the value is already there at its current rate?
Yeah, I do. I spoke with him, he's gonna come back for one more season already. So we're gonna leave him kind of where he's at, cause he is drawing his social security and everything, so we didn't wanna put him over that amount there.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure we were staying competitive again for
Yep,
down the road.
Yep, nope, he's right in there in that wage survey. I did meet with Barb and we talked about that too, and yeah, he's right in there with
Okay,
that,
perfect.
with that part-time range, so, And then I'm hoping we can get
And
a Hawkeye student for another little 3-month
Sure.
to kind of help in the midsummer with getting some stuff done. So we'll have to see.
And where were
with
you in that
So-
wage study? Is this, you see you're
So-
putting for 4.67?
So that would, yeah, so that
Slightly
would,
behind, or?
it was a little bit compared to that. So the wage study was really weird with mine. It kind of, it included a lot of seasonal help, which dropped it down dramatically. But then I went back and our association, Weed Commissioner Association, they did their own with surrounding counties throughout the state. There were 25 counties, I believe, that responded. Some were high, some were low. This would kind of put me right about the middle of the range with everybody else with that. So otherwise, it wasn't bad, but that wage survey was kind of wonky a little bit. But this would put me right in the mid-range with everybody else compared to the other positions. So. Yep.
I don't believe I have any questions. Other questions, Bob?
But yeah, I'll go back and double check that wage there and kind of see if I made a mistake, so.
I'm just, it's a comparison back to last year's budget. It's just
Yeah.
and I don't see where that's coming from.
Okay, yep.
And I'll look back, I can look back in 25 budget book too.
Okay. Okay, yep. I'll go back and double check, so.
Great, Nick, thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Okay. All right. Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Nick.
Kayla, we'll start in about a couple minutes.
That's fine.
So, Jim, thanks for coming back. Did you get a coffee? Did you get a coffee?
No. Coffee's enough for today.
Alrighty. And Kaylee's is 39, and you got any handouts, Kaylee, or anything?
It was only the budget that I sent
Yep.
Cassandra.
Yep, so 39 in our budget package. Great. Okay. You come to the front and sit.
See, ISAC does have roadside vegetation manager under secondary roads in their salary survey.
So what he did, the problem is in the math.
You figure it out.
Yeah. He just simply added his two seasonal together, which comes up to that 32,000 plus.
But how do you get back to the 27?
Yeah, that's what, it doesn't make sense.
If last year was an
How he came up
erroneous
with
entry
that
or-
number is,
Yeah.
you can figure that out.
Alrighty, we'll get started here. 10:45 session, Kaylee from General Assistance. Once again, it's item 39 in your budget book. We'll turn it over.
All right. So I increased my wages, but to start, I should say I decreased the overall budget by $5,410 compared to last year, which is about a 11% decrease. And that's including the utilities being taken over by the courthouse fund, which with that 5,000 should be a decent wash on things and allow for a wage increase to try and get me into the market midpoint that was presented through the analysis. The increases that I had were in the employee mileage and the telephone. Those were the two big ones that I found, as well as the dues and membership to cover the CSN cost, which is being split with mental health.
And your telephone is just cell phone, there's no,
It is the landline and fax that was covered by mental health previously, and there was no budget in this.
the
current-
landline, Shelley, isn't that under Waverly Utilities or?
It
how-
is. But the Waverly Utilities it's separated. So VA and GA both pay for their phone.
But as you pay the Waverly Utilities, you're gonna pay both electric and phone, right?
Not phone.
No,
Phone's not included in.
they're two separate bills.
Okay. They're one bill for individuals, I didn't know. And so in a business, they give you two different bills.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep,
Good enough.
yep. So the 1,600 was an estimate on what the current bill is, with a little bit, like, very minimal cushion, just in case it increases due to something out of my control. But it could be decreased if you wanted me to try and get it closer to what it is, supposed to be calculated to.
Why such a big increase in rents or dues and memberships?
That was the CSN, coverage.
Oh, okay, yeah, you explained that, thank you.
No, that's okay, yeah. The one decrease, that is in the, direct care portion of things, is in the ongoing rent subsidy. It was at 500 and I decreased it to 250. I had not seen that had been used, like, in any recent years. I also know that we were going to work on adjusting the rules and regulations we have in our own system, so I am assuming that would be an okay thing to decrease. It also allowed for me to increase the transportation, because that seems to be the biggest barrier that I've found, is people either don't have reliable transportation, or it's just gas is so expensive. Getting to places is one of the hardest things. Haven't seen a direct need for it or somebody to apply for it, but we're in a rural community, so it's probably the biggest need. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have, unless you guys have questions. Or you wanted to go over the wages.
Rent payments, you touched on it, but we haven't used anywhere near what we've budgeted.
We have not.
Do we reduce that, or?
Well, you can. If you reduce it, you're just gonna risk needing it, but even then, we haven't had many follow through with the application process in order for me to give them the, rent help, so.
Well, I don't like taxing for things that we're not
Yeah,
expending.
using, yeah, absolutely.
And it
Yeah.
seems like that's a pretty huge cushion.
I can't speak for what it was before. I left it the same due to the 850 only being that has been expended out of it. That was one rent payment.
Yeah, but the years prior to that, it was 1,050 and 1,700.
Right.
So it's never
Come
been anywhere
close.
near.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, what are your thoughts?
2,500.
Yeah, I would be comfortable dropping to that, and
Okay.
if for some reason a need arises, there's always that ability to do an amendment.
That would be my preference, because then we're not taxing you for it.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can ship things around if you blow on funeral services.
Right.
So
Right.
give.
Yeah, with it being bottom line and not everything's gonna be used, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I don't have anything else on line items.
Okay. Great. And I know this is a little bit maybe off subject, Jim, is everything going well with the division of work between Kaylee doing, this is, right now, she's talking about general assistance.
Yeah. I think it's going okay. There's been a learning curve for Kaylee, which we expected. And she's worked more on general assistance than I think was originally thought, but I think it will work out okay over time, so.
That was my question. Is
Kaylee,
the time
I think you're
allocation that
comfortable
we
with it?
gave, do you think that's fairly accurate? Splitting between the two departments?
It's pretty close to 50-50 right now. I don't know if that's gonna change anytime soon. It's, yeah, I would say 50-50 would be close, and 40-60 isn't that far off of that. It's kind of up to you guys on how you
I
want
think,
that
you
to
know,
look.
this is a first year and a lot of training. I think at the end of this next fiscal year, let's do a reassessment on that. Okay?
Yep,
So you can just be keeping thinking about that.
yeah.
See if that 40-60 split is appropriate. If not, then go to 50-50.
Okay.
Carl?
Are we getting many general assistance requests?
There's been a lot of calls for them, but the follow-through is still not really there. I've had maybe 3 applications actually follow through, and 2 of them I couldn't approve. And that was, haven't had anything yet this year, calendar year wise.
So, not that we're doing something that's causing them to be
I
not
just,
followed through, it's just that
yeah, it's the personal
the person doesn't
Yeah.
want to do the,
work, yep.
Are they receiving assistance from like other outside agencies,
Yes.
partners, or finding a different path?
Yes.
So they're getting help that's just not necessarily directly through.
Right. A
general-
lot of times they'll get it met, they just don't know that they need to get it met by somebody else or work on that prior to coming to me. And so I just reference referral, go, and
So the traffic flow is working as intended?
yes,
Okay.
I would say so.
Okay.
the reason I ask Kaylee is, and you're probably familiar with this too, and if you, around the state, the fix for general assistance after mental health just change was
Yeah.
some counties went with full-time general assistance, some went with eliminating it completely. I think a fair number consolidated it with VA like we did.
Mhm.
Do you feel that we're on the right track, or do you feel it should be separated totally?
Like separated from VA totally?
Correct.
I think it's fine that we're together. I think the only comment I would have is that if you're trying to compare it to other counties, the other counties are typically a 1-person office, and they're doing both VA and GA. I don't know of any other county that has a multiple-person office for VA that is doing GA as well. Typically, those are the big enough counties that they have their own separate 2 or 3 people that are doing GA on their own. So that would be, we're a very unique case in this sense, to have me being both. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. We're getting the job done just fine from what I can tell.
Yeah, like you said at the last meeting, that usually it is the director of the VA who does general
Yeah,
assistance. So
yeah.
that's where she's a little bit odd when she,
When I'm a department head underneath a different department head, that's the difference I can see. Other departments that are similar to ours is only one singular department head covering both.
okay.
Your conversation with Barb, you're comfortable with that position? You think that's, based on the wage study and everything, that is a workable solution there, like that entry point that you're hitting?
Right,
Percentile.
yeah. It's 8.32, increase, which just gets me barely above the 48,000, which is the bottom of the midpoint. I think as long as I can make it work in the budgets and you guys are okay with it to get the push, and then hopefully the gradual increase like everybody else would be workable.
Yes, thanks for meeting with Barb on and going through that information, so.
I think when I explained the budgets to her, it helped her kind of see how it played out, and some of the things washed out okay, and it's not too bad of a hit per se.
Alrighty, so you got some of our changes, and so just work with Cassandra to clean this up, so that's awesome.
Okay.
Cassandra, any other?
Nope.
Great. Thank you very much, and Dan, we got
Kaylee wanted a half hour.
Yeah, I didn't know how much we needed to talk about things.
well, this chair runs a lot faster. I know the previous chair, you just.
Well, and I was over here asking for an 8% increase, so I was also making sure I had enough time if I needed to talk to you guys about it.
Okay. Okay. Jim, I will have a question for you in the next meeting.
Okay.
Your appointment's up in June.
No, I think it's Rich's up in June.
We have you,
Oh, okay.
Rich is up June 30th, 27.
Yeah, next
You're
week.
up June 30th, 26.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have our auditor confirm that by 11:15. And
Yes.
Nick,
Okay.
didn't you fill an interim, didn't?
she
I
filled
didn't
Sandra-
know I did, but I must have.
You finished part of one, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I
fine.
But
was
you
thinking.
just now know what you're doing, so I'm assuming
Well, you
you're
think
gonna
I know
want
what I'm doing?
to be Reappointed.
Well, that or you're doing pretty good at covering up if you're not. so.
Nothing from Daniel here, it's just
But yeah, we,
21.
in 15 minutes, you can tell us, yeah, I'll probably be,
Okay.
that'd be, that's
No
all,
problem.
that's what I'll be asking you.
Okay,
looks like 16.
appreciate the heads up.
No, 21. So no, there is a budget in there.
I'm not having the best of days, am I?
Last week too, he was on the phone, so he was very nice to us, didn't want us to catch the flu or anything, and, but this week,
I
I'm
was like,
spreading the joy.
sure the gloves are off, the mask is off.
alrighty, so we're gonna take a little break for 15 minutes, and then we'll start back at Veterans Affairs.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Rick.
Just gonna leave that right there.
Yep.
Step out and see if he's on his way or not.
You'll either be here or you won't.
Correct.
So, Darius doesn't have any ideas.
No, I know. No, my ocean.
So do we,
Oh, we could reach out to other counties, if, you know, because, so Angela served 6 counties.
Yeah.
I think that's the right number. So those other counties,
They're gonna be in the same.
same, plus other counties surrounding us, do they have mental health advocates that can pick up more other counties?
Okay.
So those were 2 thoughts I had.
Yeah. 'Cause, yeah, we're not gonna hire, we want to contract out for it, so. Okay. So do I reach out to other counties, or what do you think the?
I can base.
Okay, okay.
Other auditors. And then look at the list of our counties that Angela is serving, and reach out to them. Yep, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hope they oiled the paper towel machine, because every time it turns out a paper towel, there's a big spot that's like oil or something on it.
Huh. Or it got wet when they put it in, or whatever.
Maybe. Sorry, share.
You didn't share with Darla, did you?
She's worse than I am.
Oh, really?
She's not doing well again. Hopefully stay out of the hospital. Doesn't have a fever, but she's got what I had a week ago. I know how miserable she's feeling. So just going around, there's no way you can avoid it. If you're exposed, you're exposed, and you're gonna get it. And
It's rough this year, though.
And
Getting it.
guess it takes about 3 weeks to run its course. So. Any update on the forecast? Is it?
It's gonna get really cold,
Yeah, cold.
really, really cold.
So nobody else would care about this, but my grandson plays basketball, and he goes to Center Point, and they played Decorah last night. Decorah got beat by Waverly a week ago, and played Decorah last night. Decorah was 13-1. They have Rafe LaFrenz. You remember?
Oh, yeah,
They
Ralph
have-
LaFrenz.
They have his son playing. He's 6'10".
He moved back?
He lives in Decorah, yeah.
Is he
yeah.
a coach or something?
He coaches up there. He's the assistant coach. He bought used to be the roller rink there on the south edge of Decorah, coming out and turned it into a basketball arena so he could hold clinics. And anyway, this LaFrenz kid's been averaging 29.8 points a game and tons of rebounds. Center Point basically shut him down and beat him. Beat him by 5 points. And
Hello.
totally, morning Daniel, totally unexpected. The way the Decorah coach was not terribly pleased as things were unfolding.
So it was just a stout defense, fronting and backing them.
That's what they did. They just, yeah, and if I was other teams now, I'd be doing the same thing, because Decorah's only got one other guy. The other three are kind of
Yeah.
not.
So is LaFrenz kid a junior this year?
I think he's a senior.
Senior, okay. I remember that he was on varsity as a freshman already, I remember that.
Yeah, his little brother's a freshman this year, and he's 6'6".
Okay.
And
And he was.
I was doing some reading ahead of time, they said he's playing a lot, but I never saw him.
The senior was a freshman, you could tell he had potential, but he was real lanky, he
Yeah.
hadn't grown into his body.
Yeah, and he's probably one of those guys that won't reach his potential till he's 23, 24 years old. 'Cause he's not strong at all and just I mean, he's got a lot of good athletic skills. It's just that he can shoot threes like who laid the rail, but you don't need your 6'10" guy out there shooting threes because that's.
No, but it'll help him when he goes to college.
It will. And I don't know what colleges are looking at him even,
I
but.
forget, did he play at Kansas?
Kansas.
All right.
So that was when you and I beat Kansas in the
Yeah, it was,
Sweet
yeah.
16, he
Yeah.
was at Kansas.
Yeah. Rafe irritated a lot of people when he escaped Iowa and went to, as you know, he kind of led a fan base in Iowa on and thinking that Iowa was going to have him secured, and then he announced that, I think it was Larry Brown, right, was coaching down there at the time?
I can't remember who it was.
Kansas. Pretty sure it was.
That's a lot of pressure.
Who do you want to play for, Larry Brown or Tom Davis?
So just wait a couple more minutes before we start.
Not crazy, or is it hot in here?
It's warm in here.
We turn it up on all the department heads to make them sweat.
Oh, okay.
So-
I didn't sweat.
Sounds about right.
We made it too easy for you then.
Oh, apparently.
All right, back it up. Back the clock up. We're gonna read.
Still my time, I guess.
Is he retiring?
Yeah. Yeah, we
Aaron
do.
Rodgers, is he retiring question is already being
Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
posed again.
That doesn't surprise me.
Gotta be retiring this year, don't you think? I mean, just can't outrun anybody anymore. And,
Decrease that.
I mean, how much money does an individual need?
Yeah, by about $2,000.
That's always good to start with.
Kelly took initiative and got on it before me. All I had to do was look it over. She was doing hers and decided just to do this one too.
Heard me talk through it, so.
I'm not complaining about it.
I had it done before we had the department head for the comp analysis. 'cause
Yeah, I
wanted to
think you
go in
did.
there knowing what was happening.
Fair enough. I think you're better with numbers than I am anyway.
No, but that's why.
The meetings, we had the training here. How do we inform you that we went through the training?
They started doing the videoing, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh. Are we on candid camera now?
Yes.
Nice. Hello, Bremer County.
Just this last fall?
Yeah, I don't know if they.
I've only been on the board 1 year.
If there's breaks.
I checked the agendas online before I came in, and I saw a video for the last one.
Yeah.
That's the only video I saw.
YouTube.
Yeah. Well, there is a link on the county website.
Yeah.
I don't think that was official. That was not official.
My friend Sharon is out there in the lobby already.
Oh, she made it. Cynthia didn't know she was ready.
That was just Darius doing that.
But it was the board of, it was that board that did it.
I don't think he's gotten the credentials to be.
No, but he didn't do it.
Now that they,
He has
now that they
been.
film the meetings, is Stone Cold Steve Austin gonna start showing up and yelling at people?
Does he have two?
You ever seen the video clips of him doing that, I think in Texas? He's an angry man. The in-person commission trainings, you said went up to twice a year, right? Oh, it's 3 times a year for in-person?
They have 1 in person and then 2 virtual.
Okay, 1 in-person and 2 virtuals.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another $150 a piece plus mileage?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's, yeah. That's why it increased that.
Okay.
Hoping that I was covering all the mileage.
We'll figure it out. Well, and that would go into the 10,000, and if we need to apply for the 3,000 too, because that's still training.
3,000 is only for national.
Oh, I thought we could use it for training in general. I know it's written up as national, but I thought they said at training it could be used for other stuff too.
Well, and we have to use all.
For training.
It was March
Yeah.
26th. But
Well,
I will public
with the way we're reporting the 10,000,
So that was before the law.
there might be a way to wiggle that around.
They were doing certificates then or not?
I didn't know that. I didn't think that the paying the commissioners could come out of the 10,000.
I think we can report it for training. That might be something for me to check with Iowa, but I know I've done their transportation for training out of the 10,000 in reporting.
As far as
Okay.
being required.
I just don't report it for the meetings.
Yeah.
But like if they're driving all the way to Des Moines for training, that's what the 10,000 is for.
For us, yeah. I didn't know that they were allowing us to do it for commissioners as well.
I believe I did it the last couple of years and it passed muster.
Or
I
we
can
need
double
to,
check that when I get back to the
training.
office, but she never kicked it back for
I don't know if it's
anything.
online or what is it?
Yep, I did has a free online training.
I just explicitly say commissioner training.
Okay.
We only have one appointed new one, but they can still
We
take.
think it should work, it's training.
Yeah, yeah.
You're elected this year.
And then
No,
the
exactly.
Conservation board, do all members have to do it or just chair and vice chair?
Like I can't report like your regular meetings, but if you guys have to go down to Des Moines, that makes sense to report to me.
So the new
Yep,
ones.
it does.
Yes.
So,
Everybody else is.
The only thing I'm not clear on is if we can
okay.
use the 3,000 out of national. She's
So-
thinking we can't.
We have to.
I'm thinking I heard something that we could use it for other training too, once we use up the 10,000.
So once we have all the 10,000 used,
Yeah.
you have to spend all of the money first, and it's a
Yeah.
reimbursement.
Yeah, I know it's a reimbursement.
And it's only for, like,
Yes.
according to the law, it's only for
Okay.
nationally accredited schools.
Alrighty,
Okay.
We're going to start, we're at 11:15, and bonds are Veterans Affairs. We have budget work session, and that's chapter, or section 21. Make sure you go to your books on 21. Dan, I'll open it up to you, and we
Okay.
also have Jim here, and I'll have a question for Jim at the end.
Okay, sounds good. I guess I'll start with the bottom line and then I can kind of go over everything. After everything's said and done, we got about a $2,000 decrease in the overall budget for bottom line. We are requesting 3% raise, a 3% raise for myself and an 8.3% raise for Kaylee, so we can get her to the market midpoint based on the review that was done, and I believe that's the lower midpoint, correct?
Bottom of it.
The bottom of the midpoint. Requesting a slight increase in Veteran Affairs Commission due to there's some increased training opportunities for our commissioners. In addition to the one in-person training that they're doing, there's now 2 virtuals available. Decrease on custodial supplies, stationery and forms stayed the same. I think everything pretty much stayed the same until we get to, where is it at? The phone lines. We did do an upgrade on the van phone. It was an old flip phone. We are utilizing an older smartphone inherited from mental health. And there's a slight increase in fee. Just makes sense for more functionality. Then I believe everything stayed the same until the line items for natural gas and utilities, which is currently being handled by the auditor's office, unless we need to have further discussion on that. Then let me see here. We had a decrease. We got a new copier, and we were able to reduce the cost of that with the new copier, and it seems to be a more up-to-date model. So that was a win-win. And I think the only thing that we had else that changed was the dues and memberships, which for some reason was at 300 but has been reduced to 200. I believe there is just more than what we typically use out of the year for dues and memberships. Other than that, I believe everything remained the same. Is there anything else you'd like me to cover or any other questions for me? Am I missing something?
Any big initiatives? So you pretty much status quo budget. Any big initiatives that you guys are be working on this next year?
I think other than seeing if we can memorialize the Bremer County Bridge, I don't think so.
Okay.
That's something that we need to get approval from the city of Waverly for. So that's very tentative at this point.
Yeah. And you will look at some other options, that there's Veterans Park here and other things that you could, if it wasn't.
Corey and I had some discussions about possible future ideas on that when we were talking about the bridge. I think he brought up some good ideas regarding the park or possibly some sort of memorial monument. That is something that we can definitely look into as we move forward to this year and the future, though.
That's just working with the city of Waverly.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great. Any questions?
Not regarding budget.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty, that should be it. Jim, we checked out your board. You don't have to make any final decision, but it looks like you are up this year. And you should be thinking about either if you're going to re-up or not. Just give us a heads or tails at some point in time, but June 30th.
Okay.
So-
That came quick.
Yeah, good.
And like
Quicker than I thought.
Dewey says, in order to get your worth, we spent a lot of money on training you, that you shouldn't
True.
leave us right away.
I'd like to see them stick around longer.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
From since you are board kind of governing over this, you want to mention anything to us?
Yeah, the only things I'd mention is we seem to get good reviews from the veterans that have worked with our people and quite successful at getting money coming to the county. That's gone up about $200,000 a month since I've been on the commission. Not that I had anything to do with it, because I didn't, but between our people, they've been very successful with getting VA benefits for our veterans. And we hear good things on that, and I think that's very important. And over $1 million a month coming to Bremer County, spent in, probably most of it spent in Bremer County, I think is a real positive for our county. So.
I've had a decent number of folks go out and do down payments on houses or new vehicles here in the county, so when they get that back pay, it can definitely be put to use.
And we have talked about, on your schedule, on your statistics, making sure that we're aware of
Yes.
what are the new applications being authorized. Because we do, I understand, we have a lot of veterans passing away, and your numbers are staying, are slightly increasing, but there is a lot of veterans that are passing away.
Yeah, well, and like what we discussed in the commission meeting, adding in the, claims filed a month and everything, I think that definitely gives you some better data points.
Yeah.
Not a great way to track how many vets or widows are passing every month, but if I find a great way to do it, I can certainly incorporate it.
Yeah, and we be a judge of time, but yes, because there's people passing away, people moving, et cetera, so.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Keep up the good work and make sure that, as people call or leave voicemails, respond back as much as possible. Of course, once you leave them a voicemail and they don't respond, you're
Absolutely.
but we want to make sure that they are responded to in a timely manner. So, Jim, thank you very much for serving on the board or the commission. And once again, you guys meet monthly, and
Yes.
and can you remind the public the time and place?
This month is the 29th.
29th at 10
in the
a.m.
morning,
Yep.
10 a.m.
Okay. You are. This is a special meeting.
Correct. Normally, it's the third Thursday of the month at 10 a.m. We had to accommodate one or more of our commissioners' schedule. I can't remember exactly why, but this is usually it's same time, same place every month.
Yeah.
And it's at the annex.
And it's at the Bremer County Annex in our conference room.
That is good.
The camera is new to me. Hi, Bremer County.
Great. Thank you very much on that.
Okay. Anything else for us?
No.
Okay, we'll get out of your busy hairs and let us know if you need anything more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Shelley, we have Bremer County agendas, but they're not underneath of it. They're under their own. Is that just because they're their own department?
On our website.
Yeah.
Those were there first before
They were the only agendas on our website.
we started adding others. So the rest of them you have to go off to the side.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Veterans Affairs is not here yet.
Yeah, they have it underneath their department, but I don't see them. I think they're posted. See meetings. But they don't have a tag.
Get them added over here then too, 'cause this is where we started directing everybody, so.
Okay, so if I send them a note, to Dan a note and you a note, they try to get it centralized?
Yep.
Okay. And then, probably another thing. Probably we should have, I don't know if they're working on the website, but get these alphabetical order.
On the site.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's just been the order they were added probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, good idea. Work in progress.
Yep, yep.
He's just relaxing at the door. Hi, Bob, how are you?
Fantastic.
Hello, hello. Is this where we should plant ourselves? Good morning.
Morning.
How are you doing? Hi, Clay.
You're right.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm here.
Good.
I'm still kicking.
All right, we're going to start here in just a minute or two. Cindy, you have any other handouts?
The only thing I have, I know I included the most recent at the time activity data, but I do have the one now that includes December, so it's the full year.
So once again,
But aside from that, I didn't bring anything additional to what we'd already submitted.
Should be 33 at the end of it, Waverly Senior Center. And just remind you folks, we are being televised.
Oh, good.
So this is
Oh,
new, Sharon. This is, you know, since you left.
I was supposed to comb my hair, is that it?
I told you it looked nice.
Oh, dear. Live television.
Oh, great, thanks.
All righty. Welcome, ladies. So Cindy Campbell and Sharon Abram are here to talk about the senior citizen group or the Waverly Senior Center. And I'm going to turn it over to you folks to give us a little idea of your request this year.
Well, had requested $4,000 to cover our insurance, and that is all the insurance for the senior center, all the liability and that. Of course, like everything else, it's gone up. But we are looking for that kind of support from the county. The senior center is the only one in Bremer County. We are looking for ways to expand out beyond maybe just the Waverly city limits. We do have a couple that comes weekly to the Comfort Food Fridays from Sumner. We also had a couple that were regular from Plainfield. So that's part of our drive, is to reach out a little bit further. We're focusing on the benefits to aid seniors, both with food insecurity, with programming to deal with health and wellness, and also the social connections. I just saw a feature on that, and it was an oncologist per se that was doing the presentation. It was on the CBS Sunday Morning, talking about really the need, the importance of relationship building and how that has to do with the benefit of health. So those are all the areas that we are really focusing on, looking for ways to expand our programming. Currently, right now, our lower level, which was a wood shop for many, many years and became really just a dinosaur. We could not get anybody, no matter what we did, interested to go into that. So it is currently being reconstructed right now to be another meeting area and area for programming. And what's exciting about that is, while it's a little smaller, I mean, it's a nice footprint, but some of our smaller groups, for instance, our Bible studies, or the group Hooks and Needles that does crochet, and the book clubs, would be able to utilize that area. That would open up our upstairs then to go ahead and expand a lot of our programming to do with health and wellness. Let me just interject one more time. We were talking about insurance. We have a very, very good record. We have a safe and very accessible facility. We spare nothing there in making sure that people are secure and the facility is very accessible and well cared for. So,
This past year, our insurance was at 5,200 plus, so it's going up every year.
could we have that? Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Doesn't hurt to ask, right?
No, it doesn't.
Right.
Great. That is very good. And as you know, we're Bremer County, so it's good that you're talking about how to energize other communities to use your services, since we are a county-wide organization. So, yeah.
Yes.
We send out the information every month on the activities to all, to the different cities. We still get the Red Hat ladies from Denver, and
once in
we
a
have
while.
a couple from Denver that attends Comfort Food Friday every Friday. I know they do. So it depends upon whether or not people want to participate from the other communities around.
We're really
But they're-
focusing on the food insecurity this year. The Comfort Food Fridays right now does have, it's a kind of a free will, a suggested amount, but our focus is, in some of the other grants we've got out there, that we can make that a free program. And we are also looking into expanding that where we could get back to delivering. You know, the Meals on Wheels is pretty much gone. Mom's Meals, I think is what the other one's called, has kind of come down, so 6 meals or 5 meals are delivered once a week and they're frozen, but there's no connection. And so we're looking at ways in which we can have a little bit more of a personal way when we're delivering food. I've also reached out to On Board to see about possible transportation. So from, let's say, the Waverly Homes, that they would have one place to pick up multiple people, bring them to one address, and then take them back for a reduced fee. So we're looking, hopefully they would consider that at half price, since it's not picking up people from multiple addresses, but from one location to one location, back to another location. So kind of the things that we're really focusing on is getting to seniors and also getting seniors to us.
Who's on Intercog Transportation?
My first guess is they're gonna respond and say, you know, we're gonna be losing money if you do it at 50% value.
Yeah.
The hope was if we had 5 or 6 people that were at that one location and went to the other, that might be, and we're also seeking some funding that could possibly aid with that if they can't. But they also, the other question was on if they had the staff and the vehicles to do that. So it's just kind of out there under study.
Yeah. A group rate, maybe that'd be a way to position it, if you're over 5 members or over so many people.
That's what we were hoping.
Chelsea at the Chamber had been talking about looking into public transportation too. I wonder if
That would be great.
her scope has encompassed this.
It has not, I mean, I know it's on their radar, but it is, they're not at the point where they can act on it. Okay.
I would agree, transportation is a huge
Yep.
detriment to people getting around.
Mhm.
But,
Especially seniors, once they lose their license or decide not to drive.
The downside of it is that to provide transportation is so expensive.
I know.
You know, buses are $180,000, and insurance costs is terrible. You know, gas now has finally come down a little bit, so
Yeah,
it's a little
I
better.
noticed that yesterday. Well, and if we can reverse that, so maybe we can't find a public way to get people to us, if we are looking into a system where we can have volunteers, kind of get back to the Meals on Wheels, delivering to the households and spending a little time with them. So it isn't just a drop off at the door, but getting to know them, spending maybe 10, 15 minutes with someone, how you doing, and, you know, developing some relationships. So we're trying to catch it from all areas, so if we kind of bomb out on one, maybe we have another one. So.
Okay.
I applaud you for trying. Keep up the good attempts,
Yeah.
and all you can do is.
Well, in the
do that.
meantime, our numbers continue to go up. We are getting
Good.
more and more
Well, then you're
folks.
succeeding, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. Yep.
It's encouraging to see the activity increasing.
Mhm. Yep.
Great. Any other questions? Sharon, you gotta give us any wisdom about Bremer County? Since you're the former
I was
treasurer.
just asked if I missed it.
Do you miss coming here?
No, I don't miss coming here. I don't necessarily miss working anymore. However, I keep so busy, I don't know when I had time to work.
I think you are the financial person for, what, 3 or 4 organizations?
Something like that. Yeah.
So, geez.
It keeps
What
me
year
busy.
did you retire, Sharon?
Huh?
What year did you retire? 2004?
I can't remember anymore. It's been so long ago. I ran 2 terms. Oh geez, it was, yeah.
I was first elected sheriff in 2000 and took over in 2001, and you were treasurer then.
Yeah,
I don't know if you were in the middle of your first term or if that was,
I think so.
well, it would have been,
Yeah.
where's
I'm
the
drawing a
treasurer and
blank.
the auditor? They're 2 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you,
Yeah, Marilyn was the auditor. Yeah. Oh
I
geez,
bet you
I'm drawing a
retired in
blank. I can't
2000 and end of 2002.
think. Something like that. Jeez. I'd have to go look. I can't remember. Yeah.
Well, otherwise it would have been 2006, and that doesn't sound right, because Sue Shanka was treasurer for
Yeah.
3 terms.
No, they must have run in 2004. So was Sue before or after?
Couple years ago.
Well, that was our history lesson. Let's a little break, and so once
Memory's
again,
gone. I'm sorry, I can't put it together right now. Yeah. It's bygone.
we appreciate the
But I
Bremer
don't
Senior
necess-
Center and all the work you guys do, and appreciate your volunteerism, making sure that Bremer County is a great place to live. And so, thank you for coming today and presenting this request.
Yes, let us know if you have any additional questions. We're available.
Thank you, ladies.
You bet.
See you, Sharon. That crap is much prettier.
The colors.
Gotta be worth $500. Scott?
Hello. Maybe.
This is just,
What's that?
this doesn't include this one.
That number does that.
All right, we'll get started. And we've got Scott LaRue, going to talk about courthouse remodel project, give us an update and other good information.
Okay. This is kind of just a update from what we've been working on, or Myra and I actually have been working on since the October 15th plane review that we had with them.
They provided me with two updated documents here. The one is their milestone schedule that has when they're planning to put things out for bid, when bids are due back, when they'll have their guaranteed maximum price. And the other one is their most recent budget estimate. So, some of their key dates, I think it was last Tuesday, ISG sent the completed construction drawings for final review to Myron. Myron is going over their team's going over those page by page, and then they're also using a new AI program to scan them. The 19th, the ISG will have final bid documents and the final plan set ready, and then the 20th they're going to release bids to the public. February 10th is bid day, and February 13th is when they are looking at giving us the guaranteed maximum price. And if we move forward, they would like to start construction sometime early in March. And that puts us on schedule to have the new addition up and dried in October, and then completed in March of 27. And then March of 27 to October 27 would be the interior renovations. Their current estimate for the completed project for both phases 1 and 2 is the 10 million, just a little over 10 million there, $10,078,275. Myron is suggesting that on bid day we list this list here as alternates. All those items are included in the list except numbers 1, 2, and 3.
All right, to help me out, so bid day is the February 13th.
No, bids are due the 10th.
The guaranteed price.
Yep.
So February 17th would be the date that we would vote on it?
If they meet their the date of the 13th, that's what their goal is. They said that's kind of a date in flux, so.
Okay. But it'd be very important for us, be the 17th or the next week in order to make any construction start date, so.
Yep.
Okay. So now, so to the items on there, 1, 2, and 3. So they're going to have those as alternate bids, or you need us to?
No, they're listing those as alternate bids. That's things we talked about on the October 15th meeting.
Okay. And just remind me then what 1, 2, and 3 are.
1 is the Law Center parking lot and sidewalks.
Okay.
2 is increased thickness of the roof. And 3 would be to replace and upgrade the existing VAV controllers.
Auto visual controller?
No, VAV is the HVAC system.
Okay, air conditioning.
Yep, and heat.
Okay.
And then several of these items are just kind of cost levers up or down, if we're close on a target price. Some things we could consider, and so they wanted to be able to quantify them with bid numbers to, if we need to make an adjustment up or down. Last week, one of the items that came up was the counters in the driver's license area. As Tom described it, it's kind of on an island. It's kind of its own project, doesn't really coincide or adjacent to other work being done. We're looking at that lobby where IT is, but one of the suggestions they had last week, rather than going through all the formality of the bid and the work to disrupt another area, that maybe that becomes a standalone project here, a remodel project, just to adjust those counters to lay out for the driver's license like Adam had asked for. And so I didn't really have any issue with that. I think that in the long term our cost would be less. To do that, we wouldn't be paying bid bonds and everything on it if that's something we want just to approach as its own project. I can see merit in that. So that's 13. If that whole wall was being disturbed or that office being disturbed, it makes sense to keep it in the project, but the standalone nature of it.
Okay.
I'm just so disappointed with what the overall number is. We started out at 6 million and we're at 10 million and there's still lots of questions. I just can't really see this ever happening. From my vote, yes, I don't think I could vote for it at the cost. It's just ridiculous. I mean, if that's the cost, that's the cost, but
So do we, projecting out, if it can't, this is the same cost as last year.
Essentially, yeah. So why didn't we go with it last year? If, you know, now we made some additional cuts and changes, and I think that once this comes in, we're gonna have to take a solid look at developing a entry and putting a new elevator in an entry, and that will be our project. And that seems more reasonable for people of Bremer County. Spending, we all know that $10 million is not gonna end at $10 million, because there's gonna be change orders, there's gonna be standalone projects that we just heard about. I just can't see it ever getting to be a yes vote on costs. Sorry, gentlemen, but that's just how I feel.
And I know you don't, I don't want you to stick to it, but at their estimate, if it came in right on the ball, their estimate, you would have hard feeling voting for that?
Absolutely. Because we told them, we told the architects early on, we wanted a $6 million project, and Corey, you were sitting here, you should remember. I remember oh yeah, we think that's doable. You're acknowledging that, Scott, you saw that. So how the hell do you go from 6 million, or from 6 million to 10 million? And we didn't get more, we got less. Yeah. So it's been probably one of the more frustrating public building projects that I've ever had to deal with.
So in the back of your mind, you should be thinking about a plan B.
Yeah, yep. We kind of looked down that road once already this fall when we brought that up, so, because in addition to the elevator, you'll also have air handlers that will,
right.
So.
But you could do all that without much disruption at all. Sure, we're not gaining meeting room, we're not gaining additional office spaces, but we're not spending $10 million plus either.
All right. That, any other questions for Scott? We got 5 minutes, so.
Did you want to go over that on the back of this, just the kind of contingencies
Oh.
we do move forward?
This is kind of, if we do move forward, this is how Myron, there was some questions brought up if we would need to house any offices off-site. They do not foresee that right now. They would do one existing office space at a time. Question of if court would be interrupted at all, or the court system, except for when they're removing the existing elevator and stairwell, they do not foresee any. They're scoping out a lot of that work to be performed in off hours. Otherwise, they're just saying it'd be noise similar to what we had when we did the south entry with the jackhammering and, you know, that sort of stuff. As far as physical moving of the offices, Myron will assist in that. One of the things would be we may need a place to store items while offices are disrupted.
And right now, Ton was just use the meeting room
Yes.
upstairs.
Yep.
Kind of like what we did for planning and zoning.
What's that?
For planning zoning, they
Yes,
went up
yeah,
there, so.
yep.
Okay. And from the public side, they just have to use the front entrance versus the rear entrance.
Well, once they get into the interior remodel, there'll be some different routes to get to the second floor in those places, especially when the elevator's under construction, so.
Okay. Well, I mean, there'll always be one elevator.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. But there just may be different routes to get from, the elevator will be in the new part to the existing part.
So there's a couple points during construction planning where they have kind of a temporary access or hallway essentially to get from new to old.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Scott.
Yep.
Poor Scott. Had to do all that work.
Expect anybody coming from?
I don't believe so.
Right up here. Supposed to be resolution one.
It'll be 13.
13?
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty, we're going to go to Lindsay, planning and zoning, building and zoning, I should say. We have a review of a minor plat on 1405 Whitetail Avenue. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve resolution.
2613.
I'll second.
Second discussion. Lindsay, can you tell us about what's going on here?
James Traumberger passed away last year. Sam and Paul Smith are acquiring his property around their existing property. There is overlapping parcels in county and city limits of Sumner. So for parcel Y and AA, there are two different tax parcels for those parcels because the city of Sumner has those in TIF districts. Other than that, it's pretty cut and dry.
Okay, and this is in the southwest corner of Sumner.
Correct, yep.
Okay. Any concerns or?
Nope, it got a little messy with the tax stuff, but I think it's all figured out now. So,
Because you needed some in the TIF district and some.
with portions of the parcels being in the county and a portion being in city limits, they'll just get two tax statements for those parcels.
Okay. Dewey, this is up in your area. Any?
No, I anticipated that it was coming. I had been hearing some rumblings about it, so it's, as Lindsay said, it's just a change in how the family wants to go forward with what property they want to own. So.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll move the adopt resolution for the minor plat described in resolution 2613. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Ayes have it, chair votes aye. Anything else?
That's all.
Thank you, Lindsay.
We come to the end. Next week, what do we have? So next week we have Bremer County Library Association, Lindley from the Department of Health. Shelley's going to be presenting Historical Society, Northeast Iowa Community Action, Bremer County Fair, Bremer County Conservation Board with Andy, and Board of Supervisors. So I assume Dewey's going to present that.
Chair takes on a lot of responsibility. That $1,000 was well worth it there, Mr. Chair. So.
That's next week. Anything else for the good of the order?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.